Hi YouTube, Coinpicker here. I thought I'd share with you online purchase just to reinforce the fact that there are still treasures to be found on the internet, on auctions. And people are always doubtful because there's so many, I guess, buyers out there that are quite educated and sellers as well. And you know, you put those people together and things go for top dollar. But sometimes for very obscure items, that is not the case. So, you know, that's why I always love online auctions. And, you know, it's like a big, honestly, it's like a big yard sale or garage sale, or you like to say car boot sale on the other side of the pond. You will find treasures once in the blue moon, and if you know what you're looking for, and yeah, you might get it for a very, very low price. So I want to show you this item. It's coin related, and it's very obscure. You'd be lucky to find one of these once every couple years. So from the first look at it, you're probably thinking, oh, it's probably some sort of religious item, like a Jewish menorah or some sort of related religious ceremonial item, but actually it's not. So when you look at these, just one of these by itself, it looks like a coin. And I'll show you the other side. So there's numbers on these. It says 1289. So that's a year. That's a Islamic year, which works out to be 1872 to 1873-ish. So this is actually, you got 3 across, 4 down, 12, 4 phallus denominated coins from Morocco. That's a country in Africa. So why is it all connected? Well, this is how they mass produced these coins back in the day. So basically you have the mother coins or the seed coins, which are perfect examples. Maybe the first generation ones were, you know, hand engraved or carved, and then they would make the second generation castings, which would be very good samples. And maybe they do some retooling and then use those to further cast more coins. So it's still connected to its casting sprue, this sort of part where, you know, the metal flows into the mold. So basically the sample coins would be pressed into sand molds, and then the molds would be worked to make these flow lines. You know, they'd scrape away like these, I guess you call it channels. And then you'd pour the metal. And once it's cooled down, you pull it off the side. And typically, they would snap these coins off and file down the little rough bits. And this part would be thrown into the crucible to be recycled and made into more coins. So I end up paying very little for this. I think individually these coins circulated, well, let's say in very nice condition, would probably be like, I don't know, $5 to $10 each, roughly. So we have 12 coins here. So you'd say individually, you know, someone could have bought them for what, $60 to $120 if they were individual coins. But being still connected, which is a rarity, and I don't know how it can survive over 100 some odd years in one piece is beyond me. But have a nice close-up look. It's absolutely gorgeous. And generally, I don't collect, or I don't specifically go after coins of Morocco. I mean, sometimes they do cross my path, and I just put in with my collection. But this is something special. So I would think it was, after it was cast, maybe it was turned into a presentation piece given to someone special, or sold to a collector, or maybe like those, you could say what they had back in the past called like backdoor products of the mint. But yeah, I believe that's also considered like the Star of David. But I did see something very similar to this in one of the upper end coin auctions. I forgot the name of the company, but basically there was an auction that I looked up, and they had basically 2 strips of these coins still connected. So you had 4 coins on each strip, and one of the strips were identical to the coins I have here, the 4 phallus coin, same year even. And then another strip was of a smaller denomination, I think 1 phallus. I forgot the year on those, but it was, I believe, the estimate was like between $500 and $600 for the lot, and it ended up selling for 450 some odd US dollars. So for 2 strips, disconnected. So I'm figuring, seeing that I have 3 strips and still connected, I would say at the very least, minimum $500, very similar to those 2 individual strips. Maybe even as high as maybe $800. So I don't know, that's just my approximation. Maybe take the average, like $700 would be reasonable. But this will be going into my personal collection. How I figured this out is, number one, I recognize this pattern, this coin design. And number 2, I've seen these and actually bought coins that were still attached, just like this. But because most of the older Asian coins, brass coins, were constructed just like this. So like coins of China, Vietnam, anything basically cash coins with the square hole in the middle. Yeah, about anything older than 100 years ago, that was prior to having the machine milled or pressed coins. A lot of Asian countries did the same type of method of reproducing coinage. Well, anyways, because I recognize the manufacturing method, it helped me to recognize this piece for what it was. And yeah, so basically the moral of the story is think outside the box, recognize things that may not be so obvious, and do your research. And you can also find treasures out there for pennies on the dollar, literally. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this find. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Coinpicker out.